5 acres, Lyle, Washington. This is Klickitat County, Washington. Pretty close to the Columbia River in the gorge. Great views of Mount Hood. My name is Miles McLaughlin. We just rolled out this property. I'm going to share how to visit the property, how to do some of your own due diligence, what I see in this property, and what I know about the property as well. So just getting started here, clicking through some photos. This is views from the property. You do have great Mount Hood views from this piece of land outside of Lyle, Washington, near Klickitat as well, the Columbia River. So what we do here is we buy and sell rural, hopefully epic and unique property across the Western United States. We offer more of a self-service model. So when it comes to viewings, I'm going to share some of my favorite tools to go visit one of our properties on your own, and then do some of that due diligence on your own as well. So again, just starting here with a few photos, giving you an idea of the landscape. The property is fenced for the most part. There is a driveway, there is power. It's level for building. It's got great views for a homestead and easy road access. So again, I'll let you look through some of these photos on your own. I want to show you the location on a map, and all I'm doing here to find the location of a property is copying and pasting these GPS coordinates, and I'm going to plug them right into Google Maps like this. You can see, so Mount Hood is where we get those views from. We're just north of like Hood River, Lyle, the Dalles, right, and the Columbia River. So just south of Klickitat, Washington. So a rural area. We're seeing more and more investment in these rural areas across the United States. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit further here. You can see we're located right here on High Prairie Road. So again, easy access. I think the previous owner has fenced this property. There is a driveway. I've got some additional details here in our listing that you can look at. So our photographer talked to the neighbors. They said well depth is around 75 feet. That's a really shallow well. So that's great news. The properties are fenced and gated. There is power on the road, and the corners are marked with survey markers. So that's all really great news. Some great improvements on this property. So a big selling point here is, the rural landscape, less restrictions, getting outside of the city, finding a recreational or even a future home land investment here. So again, you can see Mount Hood. So you're also close to Mount Adams. I share parcel ID, I share county in all of our listings. When it comes to viewings, again, you're going to use the GPS coordinates. You can do it in like Google Maps and maybe go to satellite imagery, right? And you can see that here. Something I'll point out, a lot of people, hey, is well and septic allowed, or how does that look, right? We talked with one of the neighbors, a 75-foot well. So these other folks, this is an indirect way of looking at things, but you can see that other people they've built homes with shops and accessory buildings, right? Another home with an accessory building, right? Like a shop. Again, you're seeing that on all of these properties, right? So we know from looking at other people's properties, like keep that in mind when you look at land. What are the neighbors doing? What are locals doing? A lot of times that gives you an idea or a vision of what may be allowed on this property that we're looking at. They obviously have wells, they have septic systems, they're hooked up to power. It didn't cost them $1 million either, right? So we know that it's possible. We know that people are developing, right across the road. What's nice here is nobody is across from you, but folks are developing, accessory structures. You can see, they kind of have a farming operation. It looks like maybe horses, maybe cattle. So we can see that there's a accessory unit here, right? That looks like a shop. Here's the home. So that type of stuff is possible out here on 5 acres, some sort of small homestead. So again, we're seeing neighbors. They're able to put septic systems in. The property should perk. They're able to put wells in. We talked to the neighbor, about 75 foot was his. So little things you can do is call a local power well company and say, hey, have you dug wells on High Prairie Road? Oh yeah, we did so-and-so's next door. It was 75 feet, right? So calling local companies, calling the county can help you find a little bit more out about a property before you go into buying something. So my favorite app for land viewings is simply plugging the GPS coordinates in here, which we've done. And it's Onyx Maps. This is my favorite app. You can see property lines if you have the pro version. I use the hunting app. I've got a blog on the website. You can actually view it right here, a tutorial on how to use Onyx Maps for successful land visits. That's going to be awesome for your land visits. This property is not correct. So what Onyx does is it sees that Robert Green's the owner. Onyx hasn't updated. We just purchased this property the other day. So Onyx Maps hasn't updated this. Robert Green sold us one of his 5 acre lots. And let me show you Google Earth here. You can see that he owns this lot and this lot as well. So what Onyx Maps is showing us is all 3 of these properties as one unit. Robert Green did own 3 legal lots and sold Wilco his corner property here. So we purchased this property. So this far right one, you can get on Google Earth. I have this. This is shared in the listing. So if you go down to GPS coordinates, we can go right here and download that. And it opens up on Google Earth with this shaded area. So we can draw and measure out, the 5-acre property here along the road and width. We're at about 350 feet. And obviously we're going to go a long way back, right? And you can look for natural features in the landscape when you're visiting a property. Again, I think this is all fenced. And I will try to scroll down and maybe get rid of the coloring so we can see some fencing potentially on these lines. It's hard to tell, but what you can do is look for natural features in the landscape. Looks like maybe there's a post right here. You can see that shadow. Maybe there's like a power post or a power line post right there. And you can see maybe when you're out there, you can see the neighbor appears to maybe be driving along this section to a degree. I don't know if you can really see that. The other natural feature you can look for is this guy's fence. I'm guessing this is fence down here. And you can see that kind of parallels with the corner of our lot that I'm showing you there. So if you see this residence, you can kind of see that. You can maybe look for this ravine is a natural feature in the landscape. This also looks like a post right here, maybe a power post or a fence gate to this property. So these are kind of your two, those are some natural features in the landscape. Going on the back end of it, there's a shelter belt with these trees. So you're gonna run into these trees on the back end of it, or really this guy's house kind of lines up with the back end of it. So that's something to keep in mind. Those are natural features in the landscape to help you say, hey, I got a good idea what I'm buying. I got a good idea what I'm looking at. This almost looks like a gate to the property in an entry point. So again, our photographer did mention some development on here. We're selling things as is. I've never been to this property. We ask our buyers to do their due diligence and do their homework. If it's something you're interested in, give me a call. That's what I have to share about this property. My name is Miles McLaughlin. We do have other listings in Washington and across the Western United States on the homepage. Give us a shout at 605-299-5553. Thanks for viewing.